Under state law, the Department of Juvenile Services is required to refer all violent crime charges to the state's attorney's office rather than releasing children to their parents. But the 15-year-old in this case was only charged with robbery and sent home. DJS does not treat robbery as a violent crime under state law. Fox 45's Mackenzie Frost continues our live team coverage from the newsroom with questions after questioning Mayor Brandon Scott about the leader of DJS today. Mackenzie.
Yeah, Mayor Brandon Scott says that he's frustrated with what we continue to see play out across city streets, but he is not saying that the Department of Juvenile Services Vincent Schiraldi should step down right now. However, others are, and those calls for Schiraldi's resignation are getting louder. The disturbing video continues to shake the community.
There is a palpable sense of fear and lack of safety on the streets.
And I mean, we continue to see juveniles commit very violent offenses.
The 66-year-old victim, Bernie, making it clear how he feels.
I think I was a prime target for him, and they waited for an opportunity to pounce.
The 18-year-old suspect, Montez Bailey, remains in custody awaiting a bail review. The 15-year-old suspect released to his guardian, despite both having prior arrests, according to the Baltimore Police Department. Baltimore City State's Attorney Ivan Bates's office says DJS made the decision to release the 15-year-old on its own. The only notice the top prosecutor's office had was an email stating the juvenile had been released. Mayor Brandon Scott releasing a statement about the Butchers Hill incident, expressing frustration about, quote, this pattern of repeatedly needing to arrest the same young people. Monday.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for being here today.
We questioned him about leadership at the state level for the Department of Juvenile Services. Do you believe that the Secretary of the Department of Juvenile Services is failing the young people of Maryland?
Well, that's not up for me to decide. He doesn't work for me. I'm not going to comment on someone else's executive, but what I will say is that we cannot continue to see these kind of things, and this is things that I've expressed to our partners in the state.
Mayor Scott says he's telling the Baltimore Police Department to continue making arrests, and while he agrees services are necessary for some young offenders,
we also have to have accountability for things that happen, like what happened to that gentleman last week.
We're seeing other people call for Secretary Schiraldi to step down and to resign. With all due respect, you're the mayor of Baltimore City, the largest city in this state. If you were to express your opinion about the current executive, that potentially could carry weight. Why not use that?
Again, I control the city of Baltimore, Mackenzie, and who works for me. What I will say is what I will say to anybody, including my friend the governor. What I want is to make sure that we have a system that is working and improving.
The mayor not calling for DJS Secretary Vincent Schiraldi to step aside yet, but others are.
Governor Moore needs to fire Vincent Schiraldi. Plain and simple.
Monday on Fox 45 Morning News, community leader Arch McCowan says he's working on a petition calling for Schiraldi to be replaced. McCowan argues Governor Moore's administration is not doing enough to keep the community safe or helping the young offenders.
So we're just doing a lot of talk, but there's no action. And the result is that they are failing. And this is under Governor Wes Moore, who his slogan is, no one left behind. He's failing, obviously, the victim. He's failing the victim's family. He's failing the community. And then let's talk about the kids.
But it's not just the community around the Patterson Park area frustrated with the apparent lack of accountability for young offenders, pointing to Bailey as an example of the broken system.
DJS failed him. He's 18 years old. He had multiple contacts with DJS. He's facing life now.
The Randallstown NAACP branch calling for young people who commit violent crimes to be detained. President Ryan Coleman wants the General Assembly to investigate why DJS appears to be struggling with success.
If Secretary Schiraldi is unable to commit and to ensure that children that are committing violent offenses are not going to be held, then maybe he should step aside.
Ultimately, Bernie says policies need to change at the state level and is calling on lawmakers to listen.
Move in this neighborhood, bring your children. Let's see how it'll work for you.
Before the situation gets even worse. Now, again, that 18-year-old suspect is expected to be back in court tomorrow morning for a bail review. Mary?
And Mackenzie, has Governor Moore weighed in on this issue recently?
Not yet. I did send some questions to his office asking about this incident specifically. We wanted to know if he had seen the surveillance video. Did DJS Secretary Schiraldi notify him of what happened or have any communication with him about the incident? And then we asked him if he believes DJS should change the policies for how young people are released versus detained. And we asked Governor Moore if he still has support in Secretary Schiraldi to lead the Department of Juvenile Services. I'm told we will get a response from the governor's office. They're just working on it, so I'll let you know when we do get some answers. We also sent similar questions to lawmakers on the various House and Senate committees dealing with juvenile crime as well as crime policy across the state. And we are getting some responses, especially from some Republican lawmakers. I want to read you what we got from Delegate Schmidt, who represents Anne Arundel County. He believes that he does not support Secretary Schiraldi to lead the department. He goes on to say, we have not seen his leadership promote public safety, protect all citizens, and make Baltimore better. How many more people need to get hurt or even killed? Now, we did also get a statement from Republican Delegate Robin Grammer, who also says he believes Secretary Schiraldi should resign. He argues that the policies are not ensuring safety for community members as well as support for the young people. We should also point out that I sent questions to the Department of Juvenile Services. We reached out to them on Friday. I also sent new questions to DJS today. We have yet to get any sort of response or comment about this specific incident or policies overall. We also asked for an interview with Secretary Schiraldi, and again, no details on whether that interview will be scheduled. We're live in the newsroom. Mackenzie Frost, Fox 45 News.
I'm Mary Bubala. Thank you for watching. Here's another video for you to watch. Also take some time to subscribe to our YouTube channel.